So, hi Sebastian, hi guys.
Hi Christian, hi everyone in the community. Drop some comments when you are there. Oh, Christian, can you see the comments already?
No, not yet.
For me it shows comments. YouTube doesn't support comments on private videos. I think maybe
we should privacy, or I will change privacy to public.
Yeah, now it looks better.
Perfect.
Please let us know, everyone. Drop some comments if everything works. Maybe where you're joining from.
Yeah, welcome everyone also from my side. Now I see the first comments. Perfect. Nice. Already some names that I already know from Telegram. So nice to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you, everyone. From France. Nice. Sound and picture working perfect. That's also good. Spanish, I don't understand that, unfortunately. Mädchendorf, yeah, that's close by to us. Jano, guten Abend. Berlin, nice. UK also here. It's pretty cool. How many people do we have, Christian? Somehow I can't see that info.
33 at the moment.
Belgium.
From Bodensee. Nice region in Germany also for making some holidays and relax a few times in a year. From Egypt.
Egypt, that's also nice. It's probably a bit more warm than here at the moment.
Definitely.
Yeah, maybe for you as an info, Christian and I, we are both in our home office, so not in our Hamburg office at the moment. Yeah, mainly I would say because of, I don't know, COVID situation, reducing contacts a bit before spending Christmas with the family. So that's why we both are at home, same as the other people from the team at the moment. Yeah, Miami, nice, cool. Okay, Christian, I think maybe we can slowly start. Before Christian will jump into a presentation we prepared this time, just a very quick agenda. It's not a lot. It's basically we will start with a presentation about it's perfect. About what we did in 2021 and this year. Then we will move within the presentation to news about the Autobahn network and about the bridge, especially about the bridge next year, why we see a lot of potential here, and we want to explain that to you. And after the presentation, we will have some time for questions. We hope to answer as many questions as possible. If there are too many or so, we planned this AMA to be approximately 1 hour. Then we can definitely take the questions to the next Telegram or Discord AMA Discord chat. So yeah, so looking forward to it. And Christian, I will handle the mic over to you now.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, let's first start with a recap from this year. It was a very interesting year in crypto, I think. Bridgings have evolved to one of the hottest topic in the market. So what have been all the new DEXs last year is kind of that this is what happened this year for the bridgings. So I think we have been pretty early, so it was a good time to start in the beginning of the year. So I thought we launched the first version of a cross-chain bridge in March or April. And yeah, we are really glad that the second version with all the DeFi updates, yeah, we were able to launch by the end of October. Yeah, on the Autobahn network side, we also made great progress. We updated you sometimes with some screenshots or something like this, but yeah, we couldn't go that much into detail. But in the 2 days update, we will cover both Bridge and Autobahn in more detail. Over the year, the team grew, so in all departments from the Tixl company, so software developer, marketing team growth, and also business development. And all the teams are working better and better together. So we had a very productive meeting this week to plan all the major features for next year and to be up to date with all teams. And I think, yeah, we are really looking forward to next year, and we are happy to present you today the most important updates we are planning to implement in the beginning of the year. Then this year we started a weekly founders chat. This is really heavily used by the community. We are really happy about it because we get really much closer to all the Tixl interested people, and it's also for us really cool to see what are the current questions you have and then we can answer them in person. And for us, it's much better to have this one weekly slot instead of being online from time to time and to find these really important questions. It's not that structured as it is now. Yeah, and as you have seen this year, we don't comment on marketing, as you should know by now. But we grew on all social media channels this year, and the marketing team will prepare a KPI analysis in January. So to give you also an insight in the marketing topic, but this will be not part of today's AMA. It's more about our progress from the dev side and from the product planning side. So probably the topic where everyone is waiting for. We have an update about the Autobahn network and what we have been working on. And it's divided up into 3 parts. So first have a look at the mainnet version 0.1, and then an update about the smart contracts we were working on and an outlook for the next year, what we are planning to do with the Autobahn network and a rough timeline. So then I will hand over to Sebastian again.
Yeah, thanks, Christian. So yeah, what did we realize for the Autobahn network product we deployed so far? We launched it in 2020, actually. So okay, in the end of 2020, but quite some time ago. And we mainly provided it as a platform for simple transactions. And what we realized is that that might have been the way to go a couple of years ago, but especially over the past year, we learned that we won't get really any traction on that without letting people build smart contracts on the network. And yeah, that's what we saw already in the beginning of the year. And that's why we decided, okay, if we want to stay in the network game, we somehow have to really get into the smart contract thing and evaluate how we can make use of it. And yeah, that's what we did. And maybe Christian, you can jump to the next slide. And that's why some of you might remember we shared some screenshots, etc. Where we deployed an EVM-based network just internally this year to really get used to the EVM and learn how it works, how we can launch our own network with EVM support. Because what we also realized is it's much easier for a network to get traction if you support Solidity-based smart contracts. There might be some other networks that don't have Solidity support in their layer 1 directly, like Solana, for example, which also got some good traction. But if we look at the broader landscape, it's really the EVM-based networks like Binance Smart Chain, Avalanche, Phantom, etc. All the networks are getting much more traction, and that's why we decided, okay, we have to somehow also evaluate these options for us. At the same time, we decided, okay, as long as we can't really make a final decision here and we need some time to structure ourselves, we focus on the bridge because that's a good entry for bringing people into a network, but the bridge will be a topic after the next couple of slides. So yeah, we deployed some sample app dApps into our network, connected EVM with proof of stake algorithm, and also spent some time to research about the roll-ups for Ethereum, because I think that was really another trend we've seen over the past year, over this year in 2021, that roll-ups for Ethereum are a topic we all have to watch over the next couple of years, both optimistic roll-ups, but also zero-knowledge roll-ups. We see a lot of funding moving into the direction of roll-ups, and that's why we also try to study here and learn more about them. Yes, and that's why next year we believe that EVM-based networks and especially Ethereum rollups will be the most important topics, not only next year, but also from our opinion, also over the next couple of years. And that's why we decided to actually launch the Autobahn network as a rollup in the next year. There are, of course, a lot of details you might have questions about already, like, for example, what is the exact use case for the Tixl token within this rollup? Because right now, if you might know Optimism with optimistic rollup, for example, or Arbitrum, these come along without a token, but then there are rollups like Boba Network, for example, which already have a token and so on. And the tokens can have different use cases like governance, like maybe sequencer, decentralization, etc. And we will, on the way to the launch in the first half of 2022, actually, we didn't really want to announce a date, but we want to commit to launching it in the first half of 2022, definitely, because we also see there is a time urgency. We need to be quick if we want to position ourselves perfectly with the bridge and a network that uses the Ethereum security. And yeah, we will publish more details going closer to the launch, like on a regular basis. And our goal is to then also give it, as soon as we launch, an initial marketing push. Christian said we don't want to comment on marketing. That's still the case. But for this kind of project, of course, we have to come up with some marketing to get really people on the network. People will be able to build dApps like on the other rollups, so it will not be as complicated as if we would have our completely own smart contract language or whatever. And but yeah, with some influencer marketing, grants for projects launching on it, etc., we will try our best to get as many people on the network as possible. And there are a couple of reasons for us why we decided to go this way. One of the main reasons is also that by going the roll-up way, we can utilize the Ethereum network security layer. So as we still are kind of a small team, we need to focus on getting stuff out that can get a lot of traction without like having to go into too much security risk as if we would build everything completely on our own. And that's why we think a roll-up can be a very, very good way for us. And in combination with the bridge, we really see some great potential there for the next year and are looking forward to finally get the Autobahn network out and let people build smart contracts on it. Yeah. Before Christian will continue with the bridge, I assume you might have a lot of questions. For all the questions, let's keep them for after the presentation. Also, take some time to think about it and then just drop the questions after the cross-chain bridge part, and then we can discuss.
Yeah, then let's hand over to the cross-chain bridge. I hope you're happy with the updates about the Autobahn network and our goals for next year. Along the year, you heard more about the cross-chain bridge, so we have had much more communication in this direction. And so we will just have a short look at this year, but we will focus on what will happen within the next year with the cross-chain bridge. So first of all, we have to finalize the current version. We had a soft launch in the end of October, and then we have found a few bugs. There was some help from the community to tell us what is not perfect yet, and also there have been some additional features we planned right from the beginning, but they haven't been finished already, and we have to deliver them now. So for example, the native token support, especially ETH is very important, and also the support for another stablecoin, USDT. And then we will also add farms for these two tokens. And very important is also that we deploy some gas optimizations, especially the release function was using gas too heavily. And all these changes will be deployed next week. So we are really happy to finalize this first release, adding the missing pieces. And then there are some other small or medium tasks we have to do. We will focus on in the first quarter. To make the bridge more decentralized so that the self-listing in the front end is supported. So at the moment, every project can self-list their own token if it has the same contract address on all the networks. But for example, it's not added to the default token list. So you can do the bridging, but you have to enter the token address as a user and import the token into your token list. And we want to automate this whole process also, that the reward pools and liquidity mining pools will be added automatically so that there's no more action to do from our dev side. Another important feature request we heard a lot from the community was cancel bridging. We talked about different approaches to achieve this, and this week we decided what way we want to go to achieve this and make it with the best UX possible. We'll start working on it in January. Then there's another important topic if you move to a new network. So for example, you want to move funds to Polygon, but you have no tokens in your wallet yet. So not a single Matic token, for example, then you're not able to claim the tokens, even though it's just a few cents for this transaction. But yeah, you're not able to because you have 0 tokens, and it's kind of very complicated because you have to enter a centralized exchange and then swap tokens and send them to your wallet on Polygon, and afterwards you can claim the transaction from our bridge. And therefore we want to create a small Fossé bot to cover the initial gas fees for empty wallets. This is only for the side chains, also for Binance Smart Chain and Polygon. So we will not do this for Sebot on Ethereum because the most users start with Ethereum and have already funds there, and also it's would be too expensive for us. But for the not that expensive gas fee networks, yeah, I think it's very helpful and a good service to bring this up to that. And then one more topic is the NFT bridge. We deployed the first version and we're happy that it's working, but we also know that there's much room to grow. We want to improve the UI a lot so that you have a nice UI to select your NFTs from your wallet and not have to enter a token ID. And also we want to enable batch bridgings, because if you have several tokens and you want to bridge them all, it's a kind of a hassle to bridge 10 tokens in a row. And it's not that much effort for us to enable batch bridgings that you can do all these 10 bridgings together in one transaction. Then we want to expand to more networks. I think this is really important for all this decentralization aspect and to become relevant for a really cross-chain bridge to support as many relevant networks as possible. For the next networks, we've chosen Phantom and Avalanche. So just a few minutes ago, I read a comment about Ren Avalanche, so I'm happy to reveal this now. And both networks are prepared already and will be integrated in January because we don't want to launch this right before Christmas. And even more networks will follow in the first quarter of the next year. So another very important topic will be decentralization, and Sebastian will tell you more about it.
Yeah, so in the current environment, in the multi-chain environment, what we see is that there are more and more chains popping up, and more chains are also getting users, getting their dApps deployed, etc. And these chains can be layer ones, as Binance Smart Chain, for example, or also Avalanche, but it can also be roll-ups like Optimism or Arbitrum. And as we already see now, there is a huge demand for general bridging between these networks. Later on, also for cross-chain smart contract calls. But the primary use case at the moment is for people to bridge their tokens between these different networks. And that's why we think, okay, and we actually we saw a report of Messari, which just laid out bridging as one of the most important topics for the next year. We definitely agree with that. And we also already see a lot of funding going into bridge-related startups. And that's why we want to make sure that we play this card as good as possible. And from our perspective, besides making it UX-friendly, etc., the most important part is to actually decentralize the bridge, because for all the projects that will be letting their users use bridges, They, of course, want the bridge to be as secure as possible so that there's, best case, almost zero risk of users losing funds due to the bridge. And that's why, first of all, we will add over the next weeks and months more nodes to decentralize our oracles. But actually, right now, we are already in the process of hiring developers for zero knowledge proofs so that we can make the oracle layer 100% trustless, so that nobody has to be afraid that our oracles get hacked, and due to a majority attack on the oracle side, they release funds that should not be released. So this is really where we want to position ourselves as the most decentralized bridge as possible in the next year. And that's what we are currently already working on, and what we want to push as much as possible. That also is important. The decentralization is also important for other parts of the bridge. Like, for example, the smart contracts are currently partially upgradable. And so projects will also want to be safe that we don't do a rug pull, or that we hire somebody who would gain access to some of the contracts and upgrade them. So we want to integrate delayed upgrades so that everyone can track an upgrade before we deploy it. And so on this level, we've got different steps we want to do, but the first priority is to make it a no-brainer for projects and users to use the bridge in terms of security. And combining that with a good UX and attaching as many networks as possible should really allow us to play an important role in bridging in 2022. And I already want to answer just one question already, because it fits to this slide very well. And that's actually a question about marketing. Somebody's asking, I was waiting for the bridge hard launch released and then marketing. And after this news, that means that the marketing starts between March to June 2022. And that's really not the case. Like, we've got an audit slot booked already for the bridge for end of this month or early next month. So then we will have another security audit for the bridge, and we will start to push the bridge as soon as possible, then really get projects on and just execute this path to decentralization, so that we want users to get on it and to play one of the most important roles in bridging in next year. Yeah. Christian, can you jump to the next slide? Thanks. And same, I would say not the same importance, but also an important topic in the bridge is that right now, how do we get the liquidity into the bridge? We do it kind of by paying the users for the liquidity with bridge tokens. And that's also why here it says, if the protocol has a relevant amount of liquidity, the cross-chain bridge is not in danger if other dApps come to the market with even more attractive APRs. So we want to make sure that we don't have to give a lot of bridge tokens to the liquidity providers all the time, but instead we of course want to reward everyone providing liquidity now by reducing the rewards in the future, so that the early adopters kind of have more reward, but in the future that we are not dependent to paying rewards in a huge amount all the time. And that's why we want to go into the DeFi 2.0 direction, where the goal is that the bridge can own liquidity, and that can work by selling bridge tokens through bonds, where people can buy bridge tokens with certain lockups at a maybe also discounted price. It depends a bit. This model has to be structured. And they can buy these tokens with actual liquidity, so with their LP tokens, which then belong to the protocol. And as soon as we make that 100% decentralized, it would then actually belong to the DAO, so all Tixl and bridge holders. And at the same time, with the liquidity in the protocol, that can be used to earn with the liquidity on different other protocols, so that the holders of the protocol tokens like Bridge and Tixl will be rewarded. We also, and that's maybe where I can jump into a question that has already been asked here, like why we actually released the Bridge token. We also want to really get the difference between the TXL and the Bridge token clear next year, also when launching the Autobahn network, because right now it's still kind of confusing for people. Why we launched the Bridge token is because we didn't really know how it would develop, because we were kind of the first bridge which rewarding liquidity with a native token. And because we are also thinking as investors in TXL, we also we are also very interested in the token having a good performance in the long run. We didn't want to give away too many TXL right now from the treasury, but first be a bit able to experiment a bit more with the Bridge token. And now, based on the situation we have, we kind of over the next weeks have to decide, okay, which position does which token have? How does it play together with the network, where TXL will definitely be the token, the only token with a use case, and yeah, need to just lay it out very properly for all new investors. Yeah.
Yeah, then we have one more topic. It's about a DeFi ecosystem. So yeah, I think we have been one of the first person, or only one with that a lot of pretty cool DeFi features you already know from DEXs. So we have this liquidity mining, staking, we have bridge farms, we have reward pools, but we want to do the next step in the next year. What does it mean for us is that we will introduce composable interest-bearing tokens. They should replace the current AP tokens, and we will enable a one-way swap from the existing AP tokens into this interest-bearing tokens. What does it mean? So by providing liquidity, you directly get rewarded with these tokens, and you do not have to do this extra step adding it to any liquidity mining pool or something like this. And this will have some cool benefits for us, because these tokens are better to use in other DeFi products like fuse pools or like in lending protocols. And what's also interesting is that every project out there with an ERC20 token can have an interest-bearing version of this token by get listing on our bridge. So this is something what is not that easy normally for projects to create a cool way to become an interest-bearing token and to be that beneficial for the token holders. And we think this is a pretty easy version, and it's easier to understand than the current version with liquidity mining. And we think this is something that can be really helpful for adding new projects next year. And we want to go down the line, want to play around with more DeFi features to be really good integrated in the whole ecosystem and become a really relevant bridge, not only from a bridging perspective, but also from the DeFi perspective. So these are the most important topics we wanted to present today. We have also some more interesting ideas in mind and talked about them already, but we will focus on the presented topics for the first months of the year. And probably mid next year we'll have an update with other very interesting ideas we will implement next, but I think this is a pretty good and interesting roadmap for the next couple of weeks. And yeah, then Sebastian, I think we can start taking a look at the questions in the chat.
Yeah. Should we go just scroll a bit up to the first questions and then?
Yeah, I think.
Where was the first one?
When does the event start? But I think we can skip it.
At 4 minutes past 5, there what makes you different from Cosmos and other interoperable solutions? Whom do you see as a competitor? Yeah, that's a good question. So for the Autobahn network, which as we presented, will be launched as an Ethereum rollup, we definitely see the other rollups as our competitors. So for example, Optimism, Arbitrum, etc. And we for the bridge, we are, I would say, competing with other EVM-based bridges that are working on decentralization and a trustless solution. Like, for example, ZK Link would be an example, even though they've got kind of a different concept regarding to swaps, etc. But I would say these are our competitors. And yeah, for the bridge, really, where our position, where we have to be best, is in combining an easy way for users to bridge, so a good user experience with really a high amount of security. And maybe that combined with the DeFi features we have is something unique and yeah, where we see a lot of potential for next year.
Yeah, then there's the next question, when Avalanche launch? In January. And another one about the bridge hard launch and some influencer marketing. Yeah, what we're waiting for with the hard launch is what we are talking about with finalize the current version. So adding native token support, USDT, and these other small parts. And this is what we need to do with the hard launch. And the hard launch will be together with listing on the new networks.
I think the staking question may be combined with the question below. They are both kind of going into one direction. So the first question is, will we be able to stake Tixl token? And the next question is, so less focus on Autobahn as layer 1 network then. And the reason why I bring up this question is because Nil or Nille, sorry if I don't say the name right, also asked a newer question, which is, or it's not really a question. I was expecting to hear significantly more on the updated roadmap for the Autobahn and what the utility for Txl will be. So yeah, I can definitely understand that it would be like, for all of you, you're probably really excited to see the details of how the Txl use case in the Autobahn network will be. We will try to bring up the details really as soon as possible. We just don't want to be too quick in publishing that at the moment, because in the past, what we realized, especially with the last version of the Autobahn network, we kind of sometimes made decisions too quickly, then announced that there will be this and that staking mechanism, but then actually a couple of weeks later we decided, okay, didn't really make any sense. So because we also want to push like really the launch of the Autobahn network as good as possible, we want to yeah, really make the right decision for that. And Txl is definitely like on our focus to bring as much utility as we can into the token. we are looking at it from three perspectives. On the one side, we ourselves, we are motivated by our TXL tokens, like our team tokens, obviously. Then we look at it in regards to our community. I mean, a lot of you invested into TXL because you wanted to be part in the network we wanted to launch. And what else was it? And in terms of course, the funding of the Tixl organization, we have the funds for next year for all we plan, so that's good. But of course, for the long run, we need kind of a better funding, and the best way to get some more funding in is to bring utility into Tixl, so that hopefully that more people will buy it, and we can then raise some funds through that. And so this is definitely for early next year one of the most important topics, and trying to bring news about that as soon as possible. Christian, you want to choose the next question?
Yeah. So here's a question about the dev resources and how they're distributed between cross-chain bridge and Autobahn right now, and any plans to adjust the distribution. Over the last months, we've really had a lot of focus on the bridge, and we do not want to move some of our bridge developers over to the Autobahn, but instead want to hire additional developers to grow our Autobahn network development team. At the moment, I would say it's about 75% of dev power is going into the cross-chain bridge. I think the next question was answered already within the presentation. And Sebastian, probably you want to answer if you're looking for investors and strategic partnerships.
Yeah, we are currently, we are always looking for and open for partnerships, especially when the bridge features have been deployed. Christian mentioned, so just the final pieces before we can push the bridge a bit more. We are definitely, we will also look out for new partnerships for the bridge to get new people on. So that's definitely interesting. Also for investors, it always kind of depends on the deal and if the investor can add some value. I assume that moving closer to the Autobahn network launch next year, there might be options to for us where we could be interested in OTC deals, but we are always open to negotiation, and for us it's important that we don't make any just big OTC deals which might temporarily bring in some funding, but then increase sell pressure a lot over the time frame thereafter. So it all depends on the case.
So the next question is, what are your goals as a company? Are you interested more in tech, or do you want to scale up as well to reach global adoption? The latter, what's the plan to scale up? For sure. Our plan is to reach global adoption, to become a really important player in the bridge market and also with the Autobahn network. And I think there are different strategies we will follow. One of them for sure will be marketing, to get some retail users using our bridge as their preferred solution. Then it will be really important to add as many tokens with a pretty good liquidity as possible. So one plan will be to get in touch with projects very early. In the best case, collaborate with some launch pads or something like this, because then probably we can become the first bridge the project uses, and we are the only option then, and the whole community of this new project really get used to it, and we'll see how nice it's working, and we'll also use it for stablecoins or something like this. So it will be a mix of different activities. Another one will be adding some farms for some blue chip coins that are really interesting for a bridge because they have a high volume. For example, the next one will be USDT stablecoin ETH, but this can also be something like Link in the future or something like this. What we think will make sense to increase the usage of the bridge. So then there's another question. When will real bridging start? We prepared everything today, and the real team will do the last preparations, and then I think this will run smoothly as usual. So probably later today or tomorrow. So then there's another question. Sebastian, probably want to answer about the link between the bridge and then your Autobahn version, ZK Rollup. It looks like two different products with different purposes. Why spread resources?
Yeah. So first of all, for the bridge, we are looking to utilize zero knowledge rollups here to kind of remove the Oracle layer we have and make the bridge trustless. So this is more development-wise. It's kind of a feature of the bridge, and we are just upgrading our cross-chain bridge team a bit to be able to integrate that. So that's like one track, and we have like a small team, but we will, as Christian now mentioned, we will hire more developers for the Autobahn network right now, so that we have then really increased capacities, which we didn't have over the past couple of months. It works with the funding we have, so we are definitely increasing the money spent this year. That's the case. But we also fear that right now, like with these capacities, we can really get both tracks done. And that's also why we decided to go for a roll-up for the Autobahn network, because that requires much less dev capacity than if we would go for our own consensus, our own data availability layer, etc. And that's why we decided to go that way.
So then there's another question about the Autobahn network, especially about a test net of this network for a community to start trying deploying smart contracts. Yeah, I think we will definitely deploy testnet first. We can't give you a rough estimation yet when this will be the case, but we will do this for sure to onboard projects in a really early stage that they can play around with their DeFi products or other products that are smart contracts to give it a try and to join the party early. Then there's a question about Tixl and if we want to integrate into the cross-chain bridge. Unfortunately, it's not planned yet because Tixl is available on Binance Chain, and Binance Chain is not EVM compatible. And for now, we really focus on EVM networks to be as efficient as possible by adding new networks. Because adding a non-EVM network would need much more efforts from the dev capacities, and there we think adding networks like Phantom and Avalanche or other like Kronos are much more interesting in terms of potential bridging volume and probably the usage. And so we will focus on adding the networks that will probably have the biggest impact, and so we will not add MTXT on the cross-chain bridge soon.
Maybe Christian, you want to go to the interoperable smart contracts question?
From Shock.
Yeah. Will the Autobahn still be focused on interoperable smart contracts and liquidity pools, etc.? Yeah, so I would say yes and no, because for the bridge, we will first try to really make sure that bridging is as secure as possible and that we get as much volume and liquidity into the bridge to make it one of the most relevant bridges for the upcoming year. And smart cross-chain calls and interoperable smart contract would mean that we also would extend the bridge functionality in a way where you could call a smart contract on Binance Smart Chain through from your wallet on Ethereum, and that's I think definitely something which has a good future, but a much more short-term and mid-term importance, we think, lies in just the raw bridging of assets in a secure way. And that's why we'll focus here first. And then on top of that, the smart contract, really the cross-chain calls for interoperable smart contracts are on the list.
Yeah, but it's definitely not removed, so it's just a little bit postponed.
Yeah.
And we decided that it's it makes much more sense to have it integrate in the bridge itself instead of a Autobahn network specific version.
Yeah.
Are there any news about burning the extra bridge that was minted to the dev wallet at the beginning? Yeah, we will do this in the first quarter after we have released the next versions, added some networks, and have a really solid version of the bridge out there. Then we will have some time to clean up everything, and the burning these extra tokens will be part of it.
Maybe next up we can answer the centralized exchange related question, because it also popped up somewhere below. Yeah, I mean, of course, in general, we would love to list on basically any centralized exchange out there, and that's clear. The reason, of course, is if we would list on a centralized exchange now, if we would try to get listed on, I don't know, let's say it doesn't matter, any of the larger exchanges, we would have to pay the listing fee, which would probably, I don't know, most of the exchanges, at least from what I've heard, cost like over 200,000 at least to list on, the relevant ones. Then you have to pay some sort of security deposit, where these are funds you can't withdraw from the exchange for some time. Then you have to pay a market maker with a monthly fee. Then you have to add market making budget. then you have to add liquidity for the market maker. So I would say for every real good centralized exchange out there, the budget needs to be 500,000 or so. And if we would spend that, that would not be beneficial for everyone holding the TXL token. Because it just would burn so many funds that these funds would miss in all the work that we want to invest for the future. So that's why as soon as the funding situation would be a lot more relaxed, we would definitely look into a listing on a centralized exchange. That's no question at all. And also in our personal, in our team, in the community interest. But for now it's just would be not the best priority.
Yeah, and what we also see is that more and more people are joining the decentralized party on DEXs. So these DEXs get more and more common, and the volume is very pretty good also sometimes. And so I think we have to decide really wise if we want to spend the money on listing on a SEX or invest it in improving our products. So then there's next question by Leon about protocol owned liquidity and if we want to partner with Ohm or an Ohm fork, for example. We talked about this in the team and we thought about using Ohm, for example, but probably we will deploy our own smart contract for it because Ohm is otherwise we are dependent on the networks Ohm is supporting, and we want to decide ourselves which network we want to list next and do not want to be dependent on the third party in this case. And so, we have a pretty good example contract for this bonding, and we'll take a deeper look into it. And I think we will deploy our own bonding contract, and then we are able to decide where we want to deploy and when.
Christian, I see a lot of questions. I would say a mix of technical questions about the Autobahn network, roll-up competitors, etc., but also about the consensus, about deployment in the public cloud, decentralized cloud, etc. What I would actually suggest is that we may be, because also we are almost reaching an hour, that we maybe take these questions and take them into the next community AMA on Discord. And maybe even we can also put some of them together in a Medium post and explain our thoughts there a bit. To get that also clear quickly. And maybe we can even also try to bring in some more light for the TXL token already. Because it seems it's highly demanded, and then we can really focus on getting some good material out there.
Yeah, there's one more question I want to answer. When will we see Tixl buyback and burn from the cross-chain bridge fee? Currently, we prepare a sub-page from the cross-chain bridge website, and everyone from the community will be able to select a token and initiate the burn transaction from it. So it's a decentralized approach, and we are in the final steps preparing it to get it live within the next weeks. So
I think maybe let's just do maybe one more question, and then Also take all the questions with us, especially the ones which are technical about Autobahn network stuff. I also see something about roadmap for Autobahn network here just posted, so that we can also answer that maybe on a sidetrack in Discord or on a Medium post. And yeah, maybe Christian, we can just quickly maybe answer the question about the reward program.
Yeah, let me check. Yeah.
Yeah, for the reward program, there have been, I was just checking the numbers, more than 130 applications. And yeah, we had some ambassadors joining, and but yeah, there have been like some personal and family issues with the people who joined, so that they slowed down their activity a bit. And for next year, there's a plan to reevaluate, and especially about letting the ambassadors produce more content. Yeah, I would say that's the plan. Yeah, and then thanks again for joining the AMA, I would say. Thanks for all the questions. We hope that you liked what the plans are for next year. We have a very good feeling with working on the bridge and the Autobahn network as a roll-up, and we'll try to bring up some more information about the Autobahn network over the next days, especially technical-wise and TXL token-wise. And but so far, I would say already Merry Christmas to everyone. Spend some nice time with your families, and still join next Tuesday for the Discord AMA. And
Yeah, and thank you for joining us today. It was a pleasure to present you the latest developments from our side and give you an insight what we plan for next year. So thank you and bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.